Simplifying fractions. Our first example is 9 over 63. The first step to simplifying fractions is to find and list the prime factorization of the numerator and the prime factorization of the denominator. So let's get started. The prime factorization of 9 is 3 times 3. And the prime factorization of 63 is 3 times 3 times 7. And that completes our first step. The next step is to cross out any number that appears at the top and bottom. So our first 3 appears at the top and bottom, so we will cross it out. Our next 3 appears at the top and also at the bottom, so we will cross it out as well. But 7 only appears at the bottom. It does not appear at the top, so we will not cross it out. And we're done. That completes step 2. The third step is to simply write any number that is left over that hasn't been crossed out. Now at the top, we will write a 1 because everything was crossed out. There's nothing left, so it's automatically 1. At the bottom, we only had a 7 left, so we will write 7. And our final answer is 1 over 7. Our next example is 36 over 60. The first step when simplifying fractions is to list the prime factorization of the numerator and a prime factorization of the denominator. On the board, I have already listed the prime factorization of 36 and 60. The second step is to cross out any number that appears at the top and bottom row. We have a 2 that appears in the top row and the bottom row. Next, we have another 2 that appears at the top and bottom, so we will cross it out as well. And then we have a 3 that appears at the top and bottom, so we're going to cross it out. And last, we have a 3 at the top, but it does not appear at the bottom, so we cannot cross it out. And we have a 5 in the denominator that appears at the bottom but not at the top. And we're done. The last step is to list the product of any numbers that are left over. In the numerator, we had a 3 left over, and in the denominator, we had a 5 left over. Our final answer is 3 over 5. Our next example is 6 over 48. Again, the first step when simplifying fractions is to find and list the prime factorization of the numerator and the prime factorization of the denominator. The next step is to cross out any number that appears at the top and bottom. We have a 3 that appeared at the top and bottom, so we will cross it out. Then we have a 2 that appears at the top and bottom, so we will cross it out as well. We're left with 2 and 4 at the bottom. We cannot cross out these numbers because they only appeared at the bottom and they did not appear at the top. So we're done. In the numerator, our answer is 1 because everything in the numerator was crossed out. So we automatically write 1 for our final answer. In the denominator, our answer is 8 because we're going to take every number that was left over and multiply them. And our final answer is 1 over 8. Our last 3 examples are a little bit different. First, we have 0 over 8. 0 is the numerator. Whenever you were told to simplify a fraction where 0 is the numerator, your answer is automatically 0. Okay, so 0 over 8 simplifies to 0. Our next example is 4 over 0. 0 is the denominator. This fraction is undefined because 0 is the denominator. The fraction is undefined and cannot be simplified. Our last example is 24z over 4. We have a variable in the numerator. To simplify this fraction, we'll divide. 4 goes into itself one time. And 4 will go into 24 6 times. So our answer is 6z over 1. Because 1 is the denominator, we can eliminate that 1, and our final answer is 6z. 24z over 4 simplifies to 6z.